American dream used to have a price tag, $30,000, a house, a yard, a white picket fence, a mortgage your single income could handle. That dream is not just expensive now, it is out of reach for half the country. And the people in charge are not fixing it. They are profiting from it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what happened, why it happened, who is getting destroyed, and what you can actually do about it in 2026. Stay with me, because the last section of this video could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Let us start with the number that broke everything. $399,900. That is the median home price in America right now. Not a mansion in Malibu, not a penthouse in Manhattan, the average house, in the average city, in the average neighborhood. In 2020, that same house cost $270,000. In 2015, it cost $220,000. In 2012, it cost $175,000. That is a 128% increase in just over a decade. Now here's what makes that number devastating. Wages over the same period went up maybe 30%. So prices went up 4 times faster than paychecks. You are not imagining it. You're not bad with money. The math genuinely stopped working for ordinary Americans. And it happened so fast most people did not even see it coming. Now let us talk about the thing that makes housing unaffordable even before you look at the price. The mortgage rate. Right now, in May 2026, a 30-year fixed mortgage is sitting at 6.3 to 6.5%. That sounds like just a number. Let me show you what it actually means in your wallet. Take a $400,000 home, put 20% down. In 2021, when rates were 2.7%, your monthly payment was $1,300. Today, at 6.5%, that same payment is $2,023. Same house, same down payment, $723 more every single month. That is $8,600 more every single year. That is $86,000 extra dollars over the first 10 years of your mortgage. Just from the rate change, not the price change, just the rate. And experts are saying rates will not go below 6% for all of 2026. A sustained drop below 6% is probably 2027 at the earliest. So if you were sitting on the sidelines waiting for rates to go back to 3%, stop waiting. That era is over. Permanently. Now here's the piece of this story that almost nobody is talking about, and it is the single biggest reason the housing market feels frozen right now. It is called the mortgage lock-in effect, and it is silently strangling the entire market. Here is exactly how it works. Between 2020 and 2022, millions of Americans bought homes. They locked in mortgage rates of 2%, 2.5%. Some even got rates below 2%. Historically low rates that will never come back. Now fast forward to today. Those homeowners want to move. Maybe they had a kid and need a bigger house. Maybe they got a job offer in another city. Maybe they just want to change. But here's the problem. The moment they sell their home, they lose that 2.5% rate forever. And they have to get a new mortgage at 6.5%. On a house that costs more than the one they're selling, their monthly payment could literally double. So they are not moving. They are staying put, trapped in homes they have outgrown, trapped by a rate they cannot afford to give up. Today, 80% of all existing mortgages in America are at 6% or below. Roughly half of all mortgages are still below 4%. Those people are going nowhere. And that means their homes are not coming on the market, which means inventory stays low. Low inventory means the few homes that do hit the market get bid up. Prices stay elevated, buyers get squeezed. It is a perfect gridlock. Sellers cannot sell without financial pain. Buyers cannot buy without financial pain. And everyone is stuck. Now let us talk about who is truly getting destroyed by all of this. Because here is something that will shock you. Everyone thinks this is a young person problem, Gen Z struggling, millennials locked out, but the data tells a completely different story. Researchers from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York just released a study. Homeownership rates dropped 8 to 10% in every single age group since 2000. Not just the young, every age group, the 35-year-olds, the 40-year-olds, the 50-year-olds, everyone is getting locked out of the market. When purchasing power declines, fewer people buy at 28, but also fewer buy at 38. And 48? This is not a generational problem. This is a systemic collapse in affordability. And here's a number that captures exactly how bad it has gotten. The average age of a first-time homebuyer in America is now 40 years old, a record high. In 1981, the average first-time buyer was 29. Think about that. It used to take 1 decade of working to afford a first home. Now it takes 2. And here is why that matters beyond just the emotional toll. Buying your first home at 40 instead of 30 costs you $150,000 in missed equity. $150,000, gone. Just because the market made you wait, and the share of first-time buyers in the market right now is 21%. That is a record low. It was 44% in 2010. It has been cut in half in 15 years. Only 30% of people who are actively trying to buy a home in 2026 expect to save for the down payment themselves. The other 70% need help from family, need a gift, need an inheritance, which means if you do not have wealthy parents, you are essentially locked out of home ownership entirely. That is not the American dream. That is an aristocracy. Now let us get into the root cause of all of this. Because high rates and high prices are symptoms. The disease is supply. America is short 1.2 million housing units right now. Not a projection, not a forecast, a current shortage of 1.2 million homes. And builders are not catching up. Here is why. First, there is a zoning problem. In city after city across America, local zoning laws make it illegal to build starter homes. The minimum lot size requirements are too large for affordable housing. Single-family zoning blocks apartment buildings in the most in-demand neighborhoods. It can take 2 to 3 years just to get permits approved in some cities. By the time a builder gets permission to build, the cost of materials has gone up, the cost of labor has gone up, and the project that made financial sense 2 years ago no longer pencils out. Second, there is a labor problem. Right now, there are 300,000 open jobs in the construction industry in America, 300,000 unfilled positions, because over the last 20 years, young Americans stopped going into the trades. Everyone was told to go to college, get a white-collar job, and now there are not enough workers to swing a hammer and build the homes we desperately need. Third, there is a material cost problem. Lumber tariffs, steel prices, supply chain issues that never fully resolved after COVID. The cost to build a new home has jumped 40% since 2020, so even when builders want to build affordable starter homes, they cannot do it profitably. The math does not work, so they build luxury homes instead. The margin is better, and the people who need a $200,000 starter home get nothing. The result of all of this is simple. Supply stays choked, demand stays high, prices stay inflated, and the people who already own homes keep getting richer while everyone else gets priced out. That is not a housing market. That is a wealth transfer machine, and it only moves in one direction. Now, let us talk about the other trap that is catching millions of Americans, the rent trap. Because if you cannot buy, you have to rent. But renting in 2026 is not the affordable backup plan it used to be. The average rent in America right now is $1,698 per month. Zillow puts the real number closer to $2,000. That is a 30% increase in just 5 years. Think about what that means for someone trying to save for a down payment. You need 20% down on a $400,000 home. That is $80,000. After taxes and rent and groceries and student loan payments, the average American saves maybe $300 to $500 a month. At $500 a month, it takes 13 years to save $80,000. 13 years of renting at $2,000 a month, that is $288,000 you pay to your landlord. While he built equity, while you built nothing. This is why 51% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck right now. This is why 35% say they feel permanently trapped in a cycle of debt. This is why 52% of Americans worry about money every single day. It is not laziness. It is not poor decisions. It is a system that is structurally broken, and it has been broken for a long time. Okay, I know that was heavy, but here's where I want to shift gears, because there are real signals that things are starting to change. And if you position yourself correctly in the next 12 to 18 months, you can come out ahead. Let me give you the good news first. For the first time in years, wages are growing faster than home prices. Wages are up 3.6%. Home prices are only expected to rise about 1% in 2026. That gap has never existed in recent memory. It means affordability is slowly and quietly improving. Inventory is up about 10% this year compared to last year. More homes on the market means less bidding war chaos, more negotiating power for buyers, more seller concessions. Mortgage rates are also trending down year over year. We are at 6.3% today compared to 6.76% this time last year. That 46 basis point drop saves you nearly $100 a month on a $350,000 loan. Redfin is calling this the beginning of the great housing reset. Not a crash, not a boom, a slow multi-year rebalancing where incomes gradually close the gap with home prices. They estimate it takes about 5 years to get back to something resembling normal. But here's the thing. The people who wait for perfect conditions will still be waiting in 5 years. The people waiting the entire time. So here's exactly what smart buyers are doing right now. Number 1, look at adjustable rate mortgages. If you plan to sell or refinance within 5 to 7 years, a 51A RM or 71A RM could get you a rate significantly lower than the fixed rate. You take on some rate risk after the fixed period. But if rates drop as expected, you refinance before that window closes. Number 2, look outside the expensive coastal markets. The Midwest and parts of the South still have inventory above 2019 levels. Cities like Indianapolis, Columbus, San Antonio, Memphis, these markets have real homes at prices that still make financial sense. Number 3, ask every single builder about rate buy-down programs. Right now, many home builders are paying money upfront to lower your mortgage rate by 1 to 2 full percentage points. That could bring your effective rate down to 4.5% on a brand new home. That is a massive monthly savings, and most buyers do not even know to ask. Number 4, if you already own a home and you bought at 7% or higher, set a rate alert today. Refinance volume is expected to jump 30% in 2026. When rates hit your target number, you need to move within days, not weeks. Number 5, use this window of low competition. Right now, there are 600,000 more sellers than buyers in the market. That is an all-time record going back to 2013. Sellers are desperate. They are negotiating on price, on closing costs, on repairs, on rate buy-downs. This buyer leverage will not last forever. When rates drop meaningfully, the buyers flood back in and that leverage disappears overnight. Here's the hard truth to end on. The housing market you grew up hearing about is gone. The era of 3% mortgages is over. The era of $200,000 starter homes is over. The system has been repriced, and most people are still waiting for the old system to come back. It is not coming back. The people who accept the new reality and learn to navigate it will build wealth. The people who keep waiting will keep paying rent, paying someone else's mortgage, building someone else's equity. For another decade, do not be those people. Understand the game, play by the new rules, and start moving. That is it for today. If this video opened your eyes, share it with someone who is still sitting on the sidelines. They need to hear this.